Well, I went and did it again. I signed up for another big stupid ride. I guess I'll never learn, huh? Wow, you find the strangest things on the bike path, like this. You know, I'd take that, except it's not my size. I think I'm more an A cup. But I don't know, second thought, maybe it would keep me warmer. Hey, granny gear here for Old Guy on a Bike. Well, I did it again. I went and signed up for my yearly, I don't know what you want to call it, torture test or something, I guess. But, you know, at least once a year, I like to try and do a ride I've never done before that maybe pushes me a little bit. Well, this year I signed up for the Death Ride. It's also known as the Markleeville Death Ride, and I don't know, seems like there's a whole lot of death involved one way or another. It's been going on for a long time, this ride. It's definitely well known. It takes place high up in the kind of in the Sierras, Northern California. I'm not in Southern California for sure. We got mountains here. We don't have mountains like they have in Northern California. Goes over several mountain passes. It's 103 miles. And something like, I forget the elevation gain in it. It's a lot. I'll put it up on the screen. And so let me find a little place out of the wind. It's a cold, windy morning here. And we'll chat about this and how I'm going to prep for it, the equipment I'm going to use, and, well, how I think it's going to compare to last year's ride to Kaiser, or the climb to Kaiser I did last year, which was, at this time in my life, the biggest ride I've ever done, at least on a road bike. All right, let me find a spot in the sun here and we'll chat, shall we? Whew. I feel like I'm, ow, that's a pokey stick. I feel like I'm dressed like an Eskimo, but it's a cold, cutting wind. It's a beautiful sunny day, but it's like 40 with 30-mile-an-hour gusts here and there. The wind chill is a little much for this Southern California boy. So now last year my challenge was the climb to Kaiser. That's put on by the Fresno Cycling Club. And that ride was 153 miles and between 14 and 15,000 feet of climbing. Got up to 9,000 foot elevation. We pretty much climbed for, I would say, about 60 miles before we really did any kind of a meaningful descent. And then we had a lot of descending, like 30 miles of downhill at one point. It was a great ride, and it was challenging. It was a long day. I started in the dark. I finished just into the dark, and that, my friends, was a big day. And I'd worked a little bit on my prep and the way I trained for it, and the nutrition program I did. I've been tweaking things a little bit this year. I got a new plan, but so let's talk about the Death Ride and what that's going to be like in comparison, and how I'm going to prep for it a little bit differently, the bike I'm going to use. And anyway, so the Death Ride is going to be a little bit different approach for me in the way I train. I'm going to use a different bike. I've been refining my nutritional program a little bit over this last year, and I kind of have a little different way I think I'm going to approach this compared to last year's Climb to Kaiser. Now the Death Ride, it used to be a little bit more deathly. It was 126 miles and, I don't know how much more, 3,000 feet more of climbing, something like that. And I guess they eliminated one of the mountain passes. So here's the profile of it. It's got it's fairly even when you start, right? You got downhill and then it starts to climb and it goes bump, and then we have a little descent, and then it goes up and kind of bump, and then, you can see all those little bumps. Well, the thing is, what we're doing is it's on a closed highway for most of the ride. They actually shut the roads, and it goes over a mountain pass down to the bottom where you have a little sag, you turn around, you ride right back over the same mountain pass you just rode over. You descend the other side, you go to another mountain pass. You go up over that one, and you go to the other side, you get to the bottom, you turn around. And it does that, I think, 4 times over 4 different mountain passes. I'll put the information up if you guys want to do the research on it. And I have a friend of mine, Buddy Tony, who last year did the climb to Kaiser with me. When he did the death ride, he did the big version, so it would have had at least one more mountain pass in it. He said it was the hardest thing he'd ever done. He would never do it again. So I'm not at all sad that this is a slightly less deathly death ride now, at a little less mileage and 1 less mountain pass. So let's talk about what I've been doing a little bit differently, and briefly I'll take you along on the training I'm going to be doing. We'll see how that's going. I got a plan. I got me a plan. So I've been refining my nutrition a little bit, and what I've done is basically I've been upping the carbs in my bottle. So I want to drink more of my fuel and eat less if possible. I tend to eat real food. I don't do gels. They've never really agreed with me all that great. I'm a salty sweater though, and so I tend to cramp. So I need to get at least 1,000 milligrams of sodium an hour, and on a hot day, that probably isn't enough. So I'll be using definitely Element to supplement my electrolytes, because I've been using that for years now, and I like that. Fluid Performance Drink, that's something that's in my description, and I have a link to that. That's a good product, and I've been experimenting with taking the mixture up, and I'm going to do another video just on what I've been doing in nutrition. I'll probably put that on my Cycling Towards 70 series, because I've been playing with that. But I've been upping my carbs, so now I've got a heavier mix. And so that I've been using that on rides now. It hasn't been upsetting my stomach, which is good. And I've been getting a good hour's worth of hard effort out of 1 bottle, which is about right. So I figure I'll probably go through at least 1 bottle every mountain pass. It's about a 10-mile climb each way. So 10 miles up, 10 miles down, 10 miles up, 10 miles down, over and over and over. So I'll probably try and do a bottle on each climb. So that should be somewhere around 5 bottles or so, plus probably just water, and then whatever food I'm going to bring. So I think that's going to work out pretty well. Now last year when I was training for the climb to Kaiser, I was doing some pretty big miles with good elevation gain. I worked up to 100 plus miles with 8,000-9,000 feet of climbing, and I just wanted to get on my bike a while, and I was still working with my nutrition, which I think I'm getting better at. This one I'm going to do a little bit differently. For one thing, that scares me a little bit about the death ride is it's at elevation almost the whole time. Where the Kaiser ride, I started pretty much at the valley floor. I'd be surprised, it's 1,000 feet above sea level, maybe something like that, and then we went up to 9, and it got really hard above 8,500. That after 80 miles, basically almost 80 miles of climbing, once you'd ride up to 9,000 feet on a steep mountain road, let me tell you, that was some dark moments. But it wasn't, but I got it done. But this ride, the death ride, I think we're starting at 6,000. We just go up to like 8 or 9 or maybe higher several times, right? I don't remember exactly what the numbers are. So I'll be at elevation quite a bit, and that means I'm going to be, down on power, because I live 1,500 feet. If I lived in Colorado or something, but I don't. So there is that. Now, the equipment I'm going to use the Basso SV. Now, I could take my Time 80HX, and that is a slightly more comfortable bike. It's slightly more stability if you're tired and the winds are up. It's an all-road bike. It's got a different geometry set to it and lower gears. But the Basso has been impressing me with how it is to climb on that thing. I've been setting PRs on that thing all over the place. So it's lighter. It has an almost as low a gear, and I think I'm just going to go with it, because I'm going to take lightweight and efficiency over just having the lowest gear, and I think that's going to pay off. We shall see. Anyway, I'm not worried about the bike being comfortable enough. It is certainly comfortable enough for 100 miles. So the death ride, that's coming up in July, and look, I'll be doing some training rides. Oh, I got one training ride near me. Speaking of that, and I'll show it to you in a video. I'm going to do hill repeats. I found there's a mountain that I know of, not that far north of us, up in the Los Padres National Forest, Mount Pinos, that's the name of it. At the very tippy top, it's 8,800, but at the parking lot, it's right around 8,000 feet. So I figured, I think it's a what is it, is it a 2,800 foot climb? 20, I put that up on the screen. It's quite a bit of climbing in 8 miles. That's going to be very close to each of those mountain pass climbs. It's going to be a little short on mileage and a little short on elevation gain, but it's going to be very close. So I'm going to go up there starting a couple months before the death ride, probably in May, because I got to get the snow out of the way and all of that, and get the roads open. And I'll just start doing some hill repeats from the bottom, and I'll have my nutritional drink, I'll have my food. I'm just basically going to mimic what I'm going to do on the death ride, and I'll just do those it's an 8 mile climb, whatever the elevation gain is, and I'll just do that. I'll try and work my way up to maybe doing like 4 repeats, and I'll just see how I feel. And I think that's going to be a good plan. I think it's good to challenge yourself every once in a while, to push yourself a little bit, and as long as God and my wife is behind me letting me do that, well, I'm going to keep doing that. All right, it's a beautiful day. I'm going to go ride to coffee now. It's kind of my recovery day. I'm going to go get a nice coffee, and we'll see you guys down the road. I'll be at Sea Otter next week, so look for some sea otterish stuff coming up very soon. I'll get that out as soon as I can. My appointment, my schedule, my appointment calendar is booked up pretty solid. Going to be a lot of fun. Sea Otter as usual. All right, you guys have a great week, indoor weekend. And as always, you go ride your bikes, and maybe sign on the dotted line for your own death ride. You never know. You might even have fun.